The fluorescent lights of St. Mary's Hospital ER buzzed overhead, a constant hum that had become as familiar to Dr. Elena Harper as her own heartbeat. It was Christmas Eve, 2024, and the chaos of the emergency room was at its peak. A car accident victim needed stitches, a child with a high fever wailed in her mother's arms, and an elderly man clutched his chest, his face pale with fear. Elena, a seasoned ER physician at 42, moved with precision, her hands steady despite the 14-hour shift that had already drained her. She hadn't seen her 16-year-old daughter, Sophie, since the morning, and the guilt gnawed at her. But this was the life of a single mother working in medicine. Sacrifices were non-negotiable. Sophie had promised to spend the evening with Elena's parents, Richard and Margaret, and her younger sister, Claire, at their sprawling suburban home 30 miles away. It was supposed to be a warm Christmas gathering, filled with the smell of roasted turkey and the glow of fairy lights. Elena had pictured Sophie laughing, maybe rolling her eyes at her grandparents' old-fashioned traditions, but safe and loved. That image kept Elena going as she sutured a laceration, her mind half on the patient, half on her daughter. At 10 p.m., Elena's phone buzzed in her pocket. She ignored it, assuming it was another hospital alert. But when it buzzed again, then a third time, she slipped into the break room, her heart sinking. 3 missed calls from Sophie. A voicemail waited, and Elena's fingers trembled as she pressed play. Mom, Sophie's voice was thick with tears, barely above a whisper. They told me there was no room for me at the table. Grandma said it, and Aunt Claire just laughed. I drove home. I'm okay, but I'm alone. I didn't want to bother you at work. Merry Christmas, I guess. The message ended, and Elena's blood ran cold. No room at the table? Her parents, who'd always preached family values, had turned her daughter away on Christmas? And Claire, her sister, who Sophie adored, had laughed? Elena's vision blurred, not from tears but from a fury so raw it felt like it could crack her ribs. She wanted to scream, to drive to her parents' house and demand answers. But the ER was still a war zone, and a nurse was already calling her name. Elena shoved her phone back in her pocket, her jaw tight. She didn't make a scene. She took action instead. Everything. Sophie sat in the dark living room of their modest 2-bedroom house, the Christmas tree unlit in the corner.